Hello again. I have another book haul. No wonder I'm broke. It's like my third book haul in 2 weeks. But everything was super cheap. I do have a small unboxing at the end as well from the last of my $5 book outlet coupons. But I'll save those for the end and I'll show you what I got at like thrift stores and stuff first. Quite a few books, so let's get through this. The first one I got is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I've heard crazy incredible things about this. It is the mass paperback, but I decided I should at least give it a try because I haven't read a ton of high fantasy, so I'm kind of curious to see what I think of it. And it is like 700 pages-ish long, but I'm going to give it a try. And the writing isn't too small, so I hope I like this. The next one I have is The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. I've heard really good things about this. I don't really know what it's about, but I've heard good things, and I've heard that Jeanette Walls is a fantastic author, so I saw this for cheap and I picked it up. The next one I've heard a lot about on BookTube as well. It is The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simons, and this is a historical fiction, which also I haven't read very much of. But I heard it was also romance, which I like, so I'm going to give this a try. Plus, the cover is beautiful. And that's that one. And then the next one I have, I only picked up because I recognized it from one that Goodreads has been recommending me for forever. You know how Goodreads is always like, because you like this, we recommend, and this one always came up. So I decided to try it. It's the first book in a series. Not very well known, I don't think. It's called The Door Within by Wayne Thomas Batson. It's sort of like a mystery fantasy, I want to say. Maybe historical fiction-ish a little bit. Not entirely sure, but the author of this is also a middle school teacher for reading and English in Maryland. So I thought that was cool. So I decided to give this a try. It was cheap, so if I hate it, it won't be too big of a deal. This next one I was super excited about, but I couldn't remember if I owned it or not, and I couldn't find it on my book list, so I ended up picking it up. And I got home and I realized I didn't have it, and I was so happy to complete this add to my Shel Silverstein collection, and it is Falling Up by Shel Silverstein. I already had everything on it, The Light in the Attic, Where the Sidewalk Ends, and The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, and this is another one of his collection of silly children's poems and drawings, and I was super happy to see this and find it, and I snatched it up, and I'm actually glad I did because one of the employees at the thrift store that I picked it up at saw that I was carrying it around. She's like, oh, I wanted that. She didn't think anyone was going to see it and grab it before she could put it in the back, so I guess that's why I got it. The next one I'm really excited about too because it's a book I loved when I was a kid and hadn't seen it anywhere in a thrift store or anything for cheap, but this is in like brand new condition and it's one of my favorite children's books. It is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs by Judy Barrett and drawn by Ron Barrett. This is the original story that the movie is based on, but the movie is like completely different, so I didn't really like the movie that much, but I really love this book and the illustrations with like food weather in the town and stuff. So I'm really happy to reread this and add it to my children's book collection. Okay, the next one is another middle grade children's book that I have not read actually, and it is The Witches by Roald Dahl. Actually, I don't know if I've actually read any of his books before. I don't think I've even read Charlie and a Chocolate Factory. I've just seen the movie. So I saw this and I decided to get it to see what I think. I've heard really good things about his books, so I'm looking forward to reading this. The next two I got at a dollar store, which I wasn't usually a big fan of looking at the Dollar Tree for books before, but I've seen some videos recently about people that have been finding stuff that I've actually heard of, so I decided to give it a try and I did pick up 2 books there. The first one is a lovely edition of Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. I have not read this before, and it was only $1, obviously at the dollar store, and it's not super long, It's only like 250 pages. So I decided, what the heck? I really love this story because it kind of has a fairy tale-esque theme to it, and I'm looking forward to reading this. I haven't read that many classics either, so this will be a good one to add to the classics genre. The next one I found at the dollar store is Spells by Apperlin Pike. When I saw this there, I like grabbed it because I was crazy excited. I didn't think I would see anything there that I had was really interested in, but it is the sequel to Wings, which is right here. One I already had is Wings by Apperlin Pike. Still haven't read this, but then I got the second one at the dollar store, brand new, which is Spells, and so I now have these two, and I think there's 3 or 4 books in the series, so I have the first 2 to start out, and then if I like it I can finish off the series. But it was only $1, so even if I don't like this one so much, it was still a really good deal for a hardback, no less. The next one is another Jeanette Walls book I got at a used library, on a used library shelf. It is A Silver Star by Jeanette Walls. This is about 2 sisters, I think, whose mother abandons them, so they have to go and find their extended family to stay with, and it sounds just like a sort of sad but heartwarming family tale at the same time. Again, I've heard really good things about this. So now I have both The Glass Castle and The Silver Star by Jeanette Walls, and I think they're going to be really good, pretty quick reads, and I'm excited to try these out. Next one I've been wanting to read for a while just because it's like a fairy tale, and I've read some of this author's work before. It's a middle grade novel. It's The Wide Awake Princess by E.D. Baker. I've read some of her Tales of the Frog Princess books. Those were a little too young for me, but I wanted to try this one and kind of see. This is the sister of Sleeping Beauty, I think, and she goes on a quest to try and find a prince for her sister to kiss and wake her up. So, I don't know, it sounds like a fun, light fairy tale for middle grade readers, and it's been on my TBR wish list on Goodreads for a while, so I saw it at the library used, and it's hardback, so I picked it up. The next one I'd never heard of before, but it sounds really good. It's called The Jumbie. I think that's how you say it. The Jumbie, or The Jumbie, I don't know, by Pamela Keyes. This is basically, if you haven't seen it before either, it's basically a retelling of The Phantom of the Opera set on like a tropical island or something. A girl goes into the drama camp, and this mysterious boy is helping her get better at drama in like the theater and play and stuff. And so it sounds really good. I was intrigued. I haven't read the original Phantom of the Opera yet, so I think I would do like read the original and then read this one. I don't know, but it sounds really good. I love the musical and the movie of Phantom of the Opera, so I thought this would be a good one to give a try, even though I'd never heard of it before. Almost done with my thrift store books. This one I was surprised to see being like discarded from the library shelf, and it was Every You, Every Me by David Levithan. I've seen this on some people's videos recently, and even though it's like a few years old, but it sounds pretty unique and short. It's like a guy who starts getting sent like stalkery pictures of himself, and there's like actually pictures in here. That seems to be a growing trend in YA books, is that there's like pictures of him, like Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and books like that seems to be becoming a more frequent thing that people are putting pictures in their books. But I like it. I enjoy pictures, and so I've read a couple of his other books and thought they were pretty good, and so this one sounded different enough that I thought I might actually read it and give it a try, and so I got it. The next one I've heard a lot of good things about. It is The Looking Glass Wars by Frank Bedore. I heard this is like a sci-fi dystopian retelling of Alice in Wonderland. It's a trilogy, I believe. And it was kind of bent up. It was got a crease in the middle a little bit. It was at Goodwill. But I decided I wanted to try it, so I paid $2 for it, but I think it will be worth it if I like it. It's a pretty chunky book, and woo, has pictures in the middle too, so that's really cool. So I'm looking forward to this. Okay, 2 more than my unboxing. This one's really beat up. I saw it at the Salvation Army thrift store, but I've heard really good things about it, so I'm looking forward to trying it out. It is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz-Zafón. Something like that. I like the other cover better. Other edition of this book better, but it still is a pretty cool cover. Kind of makes the book look all beat up more than it already is. This takes place in Barcelona in 1945. This is about a gentleman who finds this book and reads it and loves it, so he tries to find some of the author's other books that the author has written, but he finds out that they're quickly being like burned up and hidden, and nobody wants people to read the author's books. So it kind of sounds like a mystery and book lovery type of book, and so I'm always for a book lovery type of book. So I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a try. It is beat up, but if it's a good book, it'll be well worth it. And the last one I couldn't resist because I didn't own it and it was such a lovely little children's book. It is The Little Engine That Could by Waddy Piper. It is the complete original edition and it's hardback. And it's in pretty good condition. Like, the pages inside are completely unmarked and everything. So I picked it up and read it just when I was in the store, and then I decided to actually take it home with me so I can read this to my niece someday, or my children, or something, and enjoy it. So that is the end of my unboxed books. Now on to my small book haul. First is this package that came from Book Outlet. I know what this is and I'm super excited. I've already read this one, so I definitely wanted to pick it up while they still had copies. And I don't like this as much as the old cover. I don't like that they did the cover change, but it is Unspoken by Sarah Rees Brennan. I love this series so much. It's the Lindburn Legacy trilogy. I have not yet read the last book in this series. It's called Unmade, I think. This is Unspoken. The sequel is Untold, I think. And I think the last one that came out a few months ago is Unmade, which I haven't read. But I've read the first two. Really like them. It's mystery with magic and warlocks, and the main character is just so witty and funny, and this book just cracks me up. So I like the hardcover covers design better, but since this was the one that was on Book Outlet for cheap, I had to get it. So at least now the covers will all match if I get them all. But I'm excited to have this now and add it to my collection. And I can add it to my already read bookshelf instead of adding another one to my TBR, which is always a great thing. So yay for read books already. So there's that, and now I have this small unboxing. I think there's only 4 books in here, so it should be really quick. So with the $5 coupons I had, the last 2 I did, I just bought one book that was around $5, so I wouldn't have to spend more money than I had to. But I realized if you buy a few cheaper books that are $1.99 or $2.99, it's actually a better deal, because then you can divide the shipping over several books instead of having the shipping all on one book. So that's what I did for this one. And there's lots of paper. Lots and lots of paper. Okay. So the first one I've been wanting to read for quite a while, for as long as I saw the cover. It sounds pretty funny. It is a middle grade book series. First one being The Hero's Guide to Saving Your Kingdom. And this is, by Christopher Healy. And this is basically a fairy tale sequel retelling, sort of, where all the princes of the fairy tales actually go on this quest and to save their kingdom, since they didn't really do much in the regular fairy tales besides Kiss the Princess and whatever. So this sounds pretty funny and just a fun light read, and it has illustrations in it which look pretty cool. So it's a little creased and beat up, but I think it probably was scratch and dent since I was going for the cheapest price they had. But it's pretty good condition still, and I'm looking forward to reading this. The next one I'm really curious about. It is called The Unnaturalists by Tiffany Trent. And I had never heard of this before I saw it on BookTube, but they also have the sequel, The Tinker King, on BookTube as well. Or, sorry, Book Outlet. Book Outlet is what I meant to say. This is like a steampunk mystery series, and it was really cheap. So I am curious to see what this is about and if I like it or not, because then I will definitely be picking up the sequel on Book Outlet if I enjoy it. The next one sounds good. It is Everlast by Andrea Buchanan. It is the first book in the Chronicles of Niraset series. It's about this group of high schoolers that get transported to this fantasy realm, and the unpopular girl who nobody likes is a princess in that world, and the most popular people are like the maid servants and stuff, because this is a world where your status is what you deserve. So it sounds pretty interesting, kind of like a twist on the high school clique thing and how they have to work together to get back to their world and stuff. And it sounded good. It was really cheap, so I'm looking forward to it for sure. And it's by Entangled Teen, which I usually like their books that they put out, so I'm excited to try this one. This next one is a hardback, and it was like $1, so I was really happy to add it to my cart, but I have heard mixed things about it. It is a sci-fi book that takes place in space, I believe. It is Glow by Amy Kathleen Ryan. So, yeah, I've heard mixed things about it, but it was super cheap, so I was willing to risk it, and it's a sci-fi space book. And that's all I really remember about this. It has romance in it too, I think. But, I don't know, it seems pretty good. I think it was worth it to give it a try, and it's brand new, so I thought, what the heck? And then my invoice, and the box is empty. So that was my another book haul. I think this is number 14 or something since I started this channel in August. So that is a crazy amount of books I've hauled since I started this channel. But I'm really happy. And hopefully I can get through more of these than I haul. But I'm going to try anyways. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you next time. Bye.